fellow lovers of art, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you don't know, my name is Sarah. I am the artist behind this YouTube channel. You can find all the links to the places you can find me, like my website and my Instagram, down below in the description box. Today I have a rather large task ahead of me. I need to go through the drawers of art supplies that I have. I've accumulated a few different art supplies, as artists tend to do, and it tends to get a little bit messy. I do not have a designated room or space to use as an art studio. I don't even have a desk that I get to use for my art. I use my dining room table. I have like a section of it that I usually have all the things piled up and all over the place, and then as like I need the table, say somebody's coming over to my house and we need space, I usually just kind of throw it quickly into drawers, and then over time it gets messier and messier and messier, and here we are to the point where it needs to get cleaned. So I thought I'd take you along with me so you could see all the different supplies that I have accumulated over the years. Some of my favorites and ones I don't like so much, but I keep because I don't really know why. Because apparently as artists we are hoarders and we like to hold on to all the supplies because we may need them at some point in time, you know? You really never know. So here's the dresser in question. This is just like one of those IKEA dressers that ended up getting stained. Very red stain. It should not have been this red, but you know, here we are. And then I changed like the knobs out on it to be not the wood ones. Now it is a bit messier on top than it usually is because, well, I had this stuff on the dining room table and just kind of piled it on over onto the dresser because, you know, you have to make a mess to get it clean first. So I have 3 drawers in this that hold my art supplies. You can see how messy it is, oh my word. Here's drawer number 2 and drawer number 3. Those 3 drawers hold my kids' art stuff and their homeschool books. So those need to also be gone through at some point, but I am not worried about that today. Today is just getting through these 3. I'm maybe regretting life choices right now. Only slightly, it's fine. You don't realize how much it is until you pull it all out and are looking at all square in the face. It makes it even worse because it is so disorganized and messy. Like there's just random tubes of paint. Like why is this just floating around? Jars full of various palette knives, pens, highlighters, pencils, who knows what else. I've got a compass in there, like, oh my word. It is so messy, but let's go ahead and go through it. All right, from where you're sitting, it probably doesn't look very organized, but it is somewhat organized. We have notebooks and pads of paper, and then a bin of I'm not really sure what on top of that. I have paints, paint palettes, markers, various pens, pencils, and other markers, and paintbrushes, jars full of all the various things, and I'm not really sure what they're doing and why they're doing it. So let's get into it a little bit more. I do have a few things over here. Look at this cute little painting I found. My daughter did this like when she was 5. It's a bell. I love this painting so much. I will keep it forever. But I need to find a better spot for it because it was definitely getting squashed. So that needs a new spot. I found this polymer clay that is very much expired. The last time we tried to make stuff out of it, the things just crumbled, so this needs to get tossed. And then I have a chair full of just garbage. And I'm sure I'm gonna grab a bag and I'm sure it will get filled even more. All the drawers now are empty. The first thing I have a ton of that always keeps floating around these shelves are these inexpensive like Sharpies or permanent markers. They're not Sharpie brand, it's just permanent markers that I got off Amazon quite a few years ago now for a project with some youth group kids, and then we ended up not doing it, and now I have these stupid permanent markers that keep floating around the drawers because, well, I might use them for my kids, but then why would I let my kids use permanent markers so they don't use them? So why do I have them? Please tell me why. Because I can't just get rid of these markers because they could be used for a future project of some kind. They've been living in this stupid plastic container that keeps falling apart, so I'm gonna just grab them all out and I'm gonna put them in a plastic bag for right now. There's more in here, hold on, let's see. Ta-da! Slightly more organized, I guess. Okay, going through the drawers, I found this mug. It's like one of the first mugs my sister ever made. And yeah, she would be mortified that I'm showing you this. But it's like one of her first things, and if she saw this, she'd be like, throw it away! But no! It's like so terribly good. Look, it's like chipping all around the edges. But I'll put a photo over here with the beautiful things she now makes. Yeah, so you can see the grow up that she's gone through. But yeah, oh, little terrible mug. I love it so much. May not look like anything's gotten done, but we have organized all the jars of things. So I now have a cup that holds all of my ink pens. I have a mix of Heathrow ones and also the Micron pens with a few Sharpies thrown in there. Then we have a jar full of all of my regular, you know, HB2 pencils, and then also some graphite sticks that go into a pencil that I have. A little jar of all of my blenders. This pickle jar is holding all the random things. There's some of those like wet ink paintbrush things. We've got like this guy, and then I have some like paint markers and a couple of palette knives, just some oddball things where there wasn't enough of them to have their own container, so they all share a home now. I have a various collection of tapes, both washi and painter's tape and masking tape. None of these are my favorites. My favorite is actually a Holbein art tape. These ones I just, you know, use every now and then when I run out and I have to wait for more to arrive. And like these ones I prefer like on a canvas or something like that. But for my notebooks, my watercolor paper, I tend to use either the Holbein one or one of the washi tapes. Masking fluid, of course. More erasers. These are mainly for my kids, but every now and then I'll snag one of them if I need a new sharp pointed eraser. I have two different types of alcohol markers. I have the Ohuhu and then the Anlov. I don't know. These ones, the Anlov, were just like inexpensive ones from Amazon, and then I enjoyed working with them, so I got these ones as well because this one had a color palette that I liked. So ideally I would like to have one of those big gigantic sets because markers are hard. It's not like you can paint. You can have like the three primaries and white and black, and then bam, you have all the colors. Like with the alcohol markers, I feel like you have to have a lot of them to have all the colors that you want. And I kind of wish it was like you could pick your own palettes, honestly, but that would be really expensive to buy the markers individually. Here are the colors for this set. Here's its little color key. It did come with one color that was completely dry, which was kind of annoying, but it is what it is, it happens. And then here's the Ohuhu ones that I have, and the color swatches for those. Alright, now we have colored pencils. We have your standard oil base color pencils. These are from Art and Fly, just from Amazon, and they're okay. I use them a lot more for like planning art. In my like little sketchbook, like I'll use them for thumbnails and things. I also will use these like if I want to touch up little spots on a gouache painting, I'll use these, and yeah, they're pretty okay. I wanted to give charcoal another try. I've tried charcoal before, and I honestly really just like graphite. So I was like, I should give charcoal a try again, and I tried it, and I'm still not a huge fan of it. But I keep these because they are a decent set, and every now and then it's nice to work with something a little different. And one of my kids may end up getting into charcoal, so I will have these for them to try it out. And for Christmas, my husband got me these colored charcoal pencils, which I've never used colored charcoal pencils before. I did a little landscape to try it out, and it was kind of fun. I will work with these again at some point. I don't have anything particular, like, I don't have anything specific in mind, but I would like to work with these again, because it was kind of fun to have the, like, colored pencils, but extra smudgy, so yeah, this was fun. I have a set of 72 Castle Arts watercolor pencils. I like working with these. I don't work with them a ton. I've worked with these a fair amount. They like aren't my favorite thing, but I like using them when I do watercolors to like fill in those little spots if I want to get like a little more detailed and then touch them with the water. I think it's a lot of fun to use with watercolors. I think I've only ever done the like a painting, drawing, whatever you want to call it, with these once like on their own, but otherwise I like to use them with watercolor paints. Okay, now we have oil pastels. Okay, so I bought these to give oil pastels a try. I used them once a long time ago when I was younger and was kind of on them, but you know, now that I'm a little more into art, I thought I'd give them a try, and these ones were okay. They were not the easiest to blend. These are Pentel Arts. I mean, it was a cheap set. I want to say this was like $16 at most for this set. But as I was having fun with those, I got these a few years ago for my husband for Christmas, and I got to try the Paul Rubens, and I really like these a lot better. They work a lot better. I don't do pastels super often. It's been a while actually since I've used them, but they're very nice. When I do use them, they're nice and buttery soft and smooth, really easy to blend. The problem I had last time I used pastels was I like layering things. So I have since then bought a workable fixative, so now that I have that, I am curious to give these a try again and see how much more I like oil pastels. He also, on his own, like without prompting, got a pack of just white. How awesome is that? Because I swear the white, you go through them so much faster. Alright, now let's get into paint, shall we? Okay, so I just put all of my acrylic paints into this tub. It's not what I'd call organized. It's organized chaos. We'll call it that. But I am thinking of getting a couple of those like upright acrylic like makeup organizer things to put my acrylic paints into. I have various kinds. I have like my Winsor & Newton like acrylics, my big tubes of black and white, and then I've got, you know, the smaller ones. But I also have a bunch of these little tubes. Also, I was not paying attention when I bought this Winsor & Newton set. It like came with like the white, the blue, the yellow, and a green, a brown, and a red. Well, you know, it came in like, you know, a base set, so I was thinking, oh yeah, it's a mixing set. I didn't actually read to make sure that the blue was like cyan and the red was magenta, and yeah, the yellow is the right yellow, but the blue and the red were not the bright blues and reds. So I did end up buying a separate like magenta. I need to buy a cyan so I can actually mix colors better, because this blue and that red just don't cut it. For now though, this tub works much better than a bunch of the teeny little racks I have that they all fall out of and end up all over the drawers. So this will be a lot easier to just pull out the whole tub when I want to do an acrylic painting. Okay, let us now talk about watercolors. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then my palette with watercolor. So this thing has just random watercolor tubes in it. Some of them, I need to go through this at some point. I'm not going to do it today because I have things I have to do for the rest of the day, so I won't be able to get to it. But I need to go through here because there are some that are dry and I need to like cut them open and salvage the paint out of it and stuff. But yeah, there's a bag full of oddball watercolors that I just need to go through at some point. And I have this Winsor & Newton little set that I got. It's decent. It's not my favorite actually. I honestly kind of preferred this Essentials brand. I think it's like the cheapo brand, but I think I actually liked it better. I feel like this Winsor & Newton set almost has like a shininess to it, which I'm not an enormous fan of, but I don't know. I think it's just I gotta get used to it, is all. But here they are, the Winsor & Newton. They're not bad. They're okay. Okay, and then I have this random tin, this cheapo palette that I got from Amazon a while ago. I got it mainly because I needed the neon colors for a specific painting. So I needed like the neon green and like the bright turquoisey and the yellow and the pink. So I got this, and my kids mainly use it, but like I still use it when I need those bright colors. But I let my kids use this and have fun with it whenever they get to paint. Look at this messy, messy palette. I need to refill my little pans, but this is one of my watercolor palettes. This is the one I usually travel with. And then I have my at-home palette that I use. A little messy because I let my kiddo paint with me. Yeah, everything got muddy. It's okay though. He had fun. But like, see that green? I feel like, I don't know, this is the Winsor & Newton. I feel like they're shiny. Never had a watercolor be shiny like that before. Alright, now the last thing is gouache. Gouache. I forgot I had more tubes. Okay, so I have this drawer that lives in that drawer / easel thing, which I really like. This is just from Amazon. But I was just thinking I might actually put the tubes of watercolor in here. I'm not sure yet, but I'm thinking I might do that with the small Winsor & Newton ones, put them in here along with the gouache, because my two most used mediums are gouache and watercolor. So I'm thinking it might be good to have them both in here, and the reason is because I just saw these two colors that I just purchased the other day, so I was like, oh yeah, I should just put all of them in here. But I have Winsor & Newton, just the white, and then I also have the Holbein primary set that I got, along with a raw umber a raw umber tube, because I use brown quite a bit, so it's just nice to have it pre-mixed and ready to go. These are the two tapes that are my favorite. This gold one, like, heart barely sticks to the paper, which is really nice. And then I thought it was Holbein, but it's called Nitto tape. I don't know if that's just the type or the brand, but it's called Nitto. So yeah, I really like this tape. I have the Hemi gouache, the jelly gouache. This is the 18 color set. As you can see, they are very dried out. They're so dry. They can of course be reactivated. I stopped using this because I found I really like the tubes better. It's just a lot easier for me to use rather than trying to use this as a palette or scooping paint out to put on a palette. So I just kind of stopped using this. I don't know if I'm going to keep this, or maybe I'll let the kids use it. I don't know. But I have not used this in quite a while, so I feel like it's just taking up unnecessary space. Now, I will say the paint quality was actually pretty nice. I had no problem with that. It was just purely the fact that I felt like it was a palette, but it wasn't a palette, and colors got mixed, and I just didn't like that the colors were touching, so then the scooping out and putting on a palette wasn't my favorite thing in the world, and then having to constantly reactivate it was slightly annoying. But overall, the paint quality was pretty nice. And then I have this Magic Flag gouache that was like a cheap Amazon find. I don't use this as much anymore, but I do use it every now and then. I find this to be slightly shiny, which is like kind of annoying. I used it the other day in a painting alongside of my Holbein, and the areas that I used this were shiny, and then the Holbein areas were not, which was slightly odd. I didn't realize how shiny it was until I used the both together. I also had a problem with some of them. I need to actually like make little test sheets so I know which ones, but some of them did not reactivate with water. So, and these are supposed to be watercolor gouache, but who knows? Okay, so the bottom drawer I've got all cleaned and organized. I have like tripod and then like some of my block printing stuff over there, because yes, I've given that a try too. And then all my markers down here, I've got the alcohol and then those permanent markers here. Then in that corner, I have all of the jars of my pens and pencils and things. And then some stuff stacked up there, and my tapes and masking fluids. Then we have all the paints and the pencils and the pastels and my acrylic paints. Now I have to go through the rest of it, but I have to go pick up my kiddos first. So I will finish this up later, but I'm thinking I will put all of the paper and notepads up in there, and then like when I'm working on putting paintings inside of resin, like this little guy, I will put like all those molds in the top drawer along with the notepads and the paper, and then I can store my water jars up here, and then my paintbrushes just always live on the top. So I will work on that in a few minutes. Everything is all cleaned up. The spot on the table is cleared. The top of the dresser is all cleaned. Just has my brushes now. The top drawer, I got all of my notebooks into. They're all lined up. And then I also got my little easel drawer in there, and then all my cups, which don't technically, normally they just sit up there, but... Oh, hi Kiki. And then I already showed this one, but I did throw a few more things in there. I found a couple of little oddball stuff. I put in this tub that has all my resin things that need to get painted. That way it keeps them from dust and kids, and then I can just pull just the bin out when I'm ready to paint those items. I want to find a smaller container, but for now, that one works. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you found this a little bit interesting, seeing all of my art supplies. Well, most of my art supplies. I have another shelf somewhere else, but that shelf is clean, so I didn't need to go through it. So thank you for watching. If you found this interesting, hit the like and the subscribe to watch future videos. There will be more painting videos coming at some point in the future. I hope you have a fabulous rest of your day, and we will see you next time. Bye.